Hai, selamat datang and welcome to the virtual colloquium by Institute of Teacher Education, International Languages Campus, or better known as IBG-KBA. With the theme Humanizing Teaching and Learning, the Dynamics of Language Education in the Waves of Global Change. I, Joanne, your moderator, a lecturer in IBG-KBA, will be hosting this interesting session today. Today would be the 14th session of our virtual colloquium, and I hope you will stay tuned till the end of the session because we have a very special, passionate, and knowledgeable speaker in the field of teacher education. Before we get to know her, let me lay out a few housekeeping matters. First, everyone who attends this webinar series will be given an e-certificate after each session. Therefore, please remember to register yourself now. The registration link is pinned on the top. Second, we would love to hear from you during today's presentation. So if you have any questions for our speaker, please feel free to send it through the chat box. The speaker will answer your questions at the end of the session. And if we don't answer your question during today's webinar, we will be sure to follow up afterwards. And last but not least, it would be much appreciated if you could share today's webinar with your social networks. Now, let me introduce our speaker for today, Madam Kalamadi Irene George. Her presentation is entitled Humanizing Language Teaching, Why Technology Can Never Replace a Teacher. Madam Kalamadi Irene is a senior academic lecturer with the English Language Department at IPG Campus Bahasa Antarabangsa, Kuala Lumpur. She has been lecturing at various teacher training institutes such as IPGK Ilmu Khas and IPGK Temenggong Ibrahim. Her interest is in language methodology, which she analyzes during practical sessions, and as well as currently she is writing a guidebook on embedding language arts in language lessons. She hopes that this book will be of use to all teachers in future. Besides this, her immense love for poems has driven her to publish her poems in 2012, and the next book of poems is already in the pipeline. She has also published 3 poems in the IPGM Book of Poems 2020 and another 3 in IPG-KBL's Poem of Faith and Hope 2021. She is most certainly a passionate teacher educator with a poetic heart, and we are definitely lucky to have her with us today. So, without further ado, please welcome Madam Kalamadi Irene. Over to you.
Thank you, Joanne. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening from wherever you are, right? I believe this is going international. Okay, my title, or my talk rather, would be on why technology can never, yes, never replace a teacher, right? You might be thinking now, but it is through technology now that we are having this forum or this talk. Yes, of course, but as a teacher, I think especially in the classroom and especially when we are dealing with young learners, you definitely need to be there, the teacher, all right? Okay. Let me take you through, right, what we actually do in our campus, all right? Okay, as you can see, right, a teacher is made here, right? Now, this is where I come from, okay? This is our Institute Pendidikan Guru or the Teacher Training Institute, International Languages Campus in Kuala Lumpur, right? Students come to us after their Form 5 or SPM, all right, and they have a foundation for 2 semesters, and after which they are our undergraduates. They will be having 4 years, okay, of program. And what do they do here? They would be having courses, right, on language skills, on the 4 language skills, right, literature and methodology at different semesters, right. Besides having courses from our English language department, they would also be having courses from other departments educational department, the co-curricular department, science and technology department, and so on. Okay, right? Because we want teachers to not only be able to have the best competency in the language, we also must ensure that they know the best strategies and the techniques to use in the classrooms. Okay, right? And their teaching, they would also go for their teaching practice, right? They would have two phases in schools, teaching, just teaching, and we will go and actually supervise them and see that they actually teach, right, according to what is being planned, right? And phase three, there would be an internship, there would be a project and completion of action research paper, right? Okay, so that makes a language teacher hopefully, and after 5 years, they are out in primary schools, right? Okay, right. Uh, right, as you can see from my slide, okay, uh, what I would like to convey here is that before I start off with all my other slides, is that a language teacher is a role model in the classroom, okay, which means she is. I think there's a problem with the slides, cannot be seen. Start now. Thank you very much. I hope the slides can be seen now. Okay, right. Okay, right. Thank you
Yes.
very much. See, I told you, I think it doesn't like me talking about the inefficiency of technology, right? I'm always a person for, a person who always be to be in the classroom. Okay, right. I always feel that I need to be there in the classroom and I miss face-to-face interactions with my students. Right. I think most teachers also do. Yes,
Yes.
because a lot of things can be done in the school, in the classroom, right? And we are talking about technology. Yes, I think technology is here as a scaffolding beam or a pillar, right? I feel that, yeah, we use that because if we don't use that, we'll be left behind. Yes, but I feel that we all should, the teacher presence must be there. And how do you actually get the teacher presence? Okay, because a language teacher, as I was saying, is a role model in the classroom, and nothing is ever close, all right, to a teacher's presence, as she has a diverse role to play in the classroom, diverse roles, many roles, okay, and this diversity is made to come alive in the form of her projection, communication, her content knowledge, and questioning techniques. Okay, right. And technology is here only as a tool to assist teaching. When students need to find an information, get new ideas, or even as the platform to facilitate teaching and learning in a remote teaching environment. I've told this many times to my students, and I think we are all adhering to that. Yeah. Yet teachers still need to be present in the lesson itself, right? The presence of the teacher in the lesson itself to enable knowledge to be imparted at the most appropriate level. For example, when the teacher prompts the students to think and provide the solution, all right? And the teacher needs to be there as the prompting voice, right? And probably she wants an answer, she directs the students to think and come to an answer, right? That is most possible in a situation, right? Whatever situation she throws them in, okay? And technology is not able to do this, as the teacher is the source who comes with humane values. She has the patience and she has the feelings to understand each student and to create that comfortable environment. This goes to show that only a teacher is able to provide a complete package for teaching. Okay? Thus, she is irreplaceable by any other technology, present or future. Okay? Like for example, you can see the slide here, right? You see a teacher there sitting down with a group of kids, okay? And she's having a story there, right? And she herself becomes the connector between the story and the pupils, where she uses her voice and actions to bring the story to life. All right, for example, if you're talking about a story, okay, let's talk about Jack and the Beanstalk. I love that story, okay? Jack and the Beanstalk. She needs to bring that story to life because the kids are not aware or they do not come across a beanstalk, right, which can actually grow up so huge, right, cutting across, going higher than the house and right, reaching the sky. So the teacher has to bring that alive. Okay. So how? She needs to use a voice. She also can bring out the humor in her pupils by telling jokes. All right, and asking them questions from time to time. Right, and this is what we all want teachers to do, even with technology or no technology. Right, and the teacher also need to take time to affirm the kids understanding, the students understanding, right? Because we know that every child is very different, right? Every child is unique. So the teacher needs to be there, all right, to look at which child to attend to and to affirm the understanding. I know you are telling, I've got 45 kids in my class. Do you think it's possible? We are not asking, the teacher to attend to all 45 at one go, all right? Probably you attended to 20, tomorrow you attend to another 10. It's like that, yeah? And you can even ask students to act out the story and be there with them. All right. So this is how some of the ways that the teacher can actually is actually a very important icon or a very important figure in the fields of especially language teaching. Right. And I would like to also show how a teacher is actually connecting what she wants to teach, all right, by actually asking questions and prompting the kids. Okay, I hope you all can hear this. This is one of my students for her practicum, right?
Okay, so Logashri,
Yes,
what is
teacher.
race, Logashri?
Race is running in competition.
Mm-hmm. Yes, correct, good. That's impressive. Thank you. Okay, so which picture depicts race? One or two?
Two.
Hmm? Two? You said
Yes.
running in a
No, teacher. One.
one. Yes, correct, one. However, this is race or not? Is this considered race? Is this
No,
has anything to do with race?
no, teacher.
Actually, yeah, this is another word for race. You can see the skin colors are all different, so they come from different racial background. However, today we are talking about race in terms of sports. Okay, okay, Logashri, thank you so much. Fantastic answer. Can you call a friend?
Okay.
Thank you, Shakina. You see how the teacher affirms, right? When the kid is able to say what is the meaning of race, and then she asks that second picture, she actually affirms, all right, what the kid actually says. So we need this. That's why the teacher needs to be present in the class, all right? And we are using technology, and of course, for the past, I think 18 months, 17 months, we have been using this way, all right, to actually teach. And we are also in our campuses using Google Meet to actually present our lectures to our students. Yeah. So we still need the help of technology, but we have to be there. We are the ones who control the class, right? Yeah. So, yeah, let's look at the next one. Okay. Yes, I was talking to you about teacher being a role model, definitely, right? And the teacher is there to engage and connect and inspire, right? The kids, all right? So that the kids, as they deal with all these They are looking at the teachers every day, and the teachers become a symbol of inspiration for the kids. And how is that? We cannot just say, yes, teachers are a symbol in the classroom and just be with that. We have to project that. We have to make that come alive. All right? So, how do we make that alive? So, we have to use our communication, right? When we are speaking to them, especially language teachers, how is our communication? I'm totally against translation in the classroom because I always tell my students that you need to immerse your students in the language that you're teaching. So if you are an English teacher, you have to be teaching, you have to use language, you have to use English from the time you enter the classroom till you leave the classroom. Okay, it's okay, they won't understand in on day one, they might understand 2 days later, they might understand a month later, well, even after 2 years they might be able to understand the language that you are using. Of course, you have to also use by showing pictures, by also acting out, and so on and so forth. All right, so the communication is very important. So teachers need to use the communication in the lessons, right? And of course, without content knowledge, right? Okay, what can we do? We have to have the right content knowledge so that we can impart to them all the time in our classes, right? Questioning techniques is also another area where the teachers actually use to engage or connect to the classroom. All right, you keep on questioning them. It is not questioning to just ask about the comprehension of whatever that they're teaching. It can be a simple thing like, if you're teaching food, what did you have today, Raphael? What did you have in the morning? You didn't take any food? Oh, that's bad. You know, teacher is there because the teacher is someone who's alive, and the teacher actually asks, and she also needs to find out about the welfare of the kids in her class. So there's a lot of things that the teachers actually do. And technology is a tool, all right, where you actually find information, get new ideas, and actually in these days you actually can give them 2 minutes. Okay, quickly Google and give me the meaning. You do that, yeah, very good, right? Because at least they are still connected to this technology and all. And sometimes students and kids, the young learners, actually teach the teachers on how to use certain apps, and the gadgets. They are so good because when I think when they are even babies, they start handling all these gadgets. So it's not a very difficult thing since they are all digital natives, right? And they enable the knowledge to be imparted at the most appropriate level, right? Stopping to ask question, and then telling them, okay, this one. And then if you find that they are not able to understand, and then you can just stop and continue, right? So as I have written there, right, we all come with humane values, patience, and feelings to understand each student and to create that comfortable environment, right? We are actually a complete package for teaching, right? Okay, right. I will also let you watch one more where technology is used, but there is so much of fun, the element of fun being in the classroom, right? I hope you can actually watch it. It's not going upside down. No. Yeah. Okay, this is also another practicum student, right? Yeah. You see? Yeah, all boys class. So you see there's so much of activity there. They're very hyper in the classroom and all. Okay, and the hyperactivity is actually complemented by the teacher having the technology to help her, but she's actually having a nice game going on there, that element of fun. So, ladies and gentlemen, teachers, see how teachers can actually connect. And you think the kids wants to stay at home? Definitely the kids don't want to stay at home, they want to come to class, all right, yeah. But I'm not too sure, but I think there is a lot of things there going on right now. So whether they are supposed to come back to school and all that, yeah, okay, I'm not too sure when they are all going to come back to school, but hopefully they will all come back to school because I think there's a lot more for kids to enjoy when they are in school, all right. Okay, and a teacher also, right? Okay, she leads, guides, facilitates, and mentors the student, right? Because she keeps on prompting them from time to time, stopping to ask them questions, and it shows them, all right, through examples and samples, okay, right. Of course, in the presentation level and all, teachers need to be there to show them how it is through samples, through examples, all right. We cannot just, just throw some activities at them without doing all this, right. While doing these, the teacher also gives special attention to the less confident ones, right. Of course, we all have a good array and a good variety of kids, right. Some are not very confident in the classroom, all right. So the teacher actually needs to look up for all this, right. So is technology able to do that? Definitely no. The teacher is the one who can do that, right? Yeah. And at the same time, we also fine tune the language, our language, to their level, all right? From time to time, not all the time, all right? We cannot be all the time using, going down to their level, of language. We also need to go a little higher each time. But again, the teacher is the one who's able to do this and moderate that, all right, from time to time, okay? Okay, you see, a lot of things can also be done. This is again technology, right? Because all these were done, all right, and this is a Jamboard, or I also use them. I think many of us are using Jamboards now for our lectures and also in the classroom. And if the teacher is able to, show these and work these with the kids, there's so much of learning going on. But again, it depends on how the teacher uses her techniques, the questioning techniques, what kind of activities she actually does. Like she has a picture here, and is it just asking them, okay, name the parts, and then they go like, okay, these are fingers, this is the knee, this is the leg, and all that. She can also go a little, she can extend that. All right, she can still extend that by asking them to, for example,
See,
spell.
can you see number 2? Yes? What's the answer? Fingers.
Finger.
How do you spell fingers?
FINGER.
We don't forget S. Okay, how many fingers does this robot have? Let's count. 1.
Okay, so you see the spelling, and she even said, okay, we have to have the S there because there are more fingers. So the teachers need to do this in the classroom. It's the teacher who has the ability to do this. All right. So when she's teaching all that, she's also embedding this. All right, these little elements. All right. Yeah, I will talk to you later about the elements. It's called CCE, Cross-Curricular Elements.
See, can you see number?
Okay, right. And the teacher engages, all right, her pupils with diagrams, maps, and charts, all right, because if you are going to use, for example, you could be doing about weather, then you need to talk about probably the 4 seasons, okay? Yeah, why not? Right, which is why now we have the textbooks which are actually coming from overseas, right? And this is another way where our students, our kids these days, Malaysian schools, all right, we are learning English, we are using the textbooks from overseas, and a lot of things there the teacher needs to impart to the kids. That is why I was talking about content knowledge, all right? And the teachers need to have content knowledge, because if you want to talk about weather, then you would of course extend by talking about seasons. We do not have seasons, we only have the dry and wet season, the rainy season, and so on. But some countries in the world, okay, and where are these countries which have all the other seasons? So you have to link the topic to other elements, okay? Right, that is CCE. I'm coming there slowly, all right? It's geography, you have mathematics and economics, and I think cross-curricular elements is a wonderful thing that has happened to, all right, our KSSR, okay, which is also the one of the standard, one of the way that actually which has been written a document that we have to embed all these elements, right? Okay. So teachers teach language, but they also have to have a lot of other elements which they have to look at. Okay, right. And at the same time, teacher is able to use the right vocabulary and terms while doing running their lessons. Okay, definitely that goes without saying, yeah, right. If you see this, all right, this is an English language lesson, but wow, that is a Sorry. Okay, so this is an English language lesson, but how come there is a map there? All right, this is what I meant.
Which one is the largest continent?
And
Asia.
Yes?
Asia. Asia.
Asia, very good. The pink colored. This is the largest continent in the world. Okay. How about the second largest continent?
see, so kids are actually, sorry, kids are actually talking about looking at continents, right, countries, and so on and so forth. All right, this is really very good, and the teacher is the one who has to make this effort. All right, so you see, she has a map there, and these are all only in year 4, 10-year-olds. All right, so they get a good view, and the knowledge expands. All right, knowing about the world, knowing about the countries, knowing about the continents which are in the world. Okay. Okay, this is what I meant about cross-curricular elements. Right, this is something that needs to be embedded in the language classroom. Right, and when you teach language, you actually link the topic. You link your lesson to any of these, any one, two, three of these. Okay, right. You also give them, see, geography can come under information, right? And then you talk about the environmental sustainability. There's a lot what they can do to save the environment, right? You also talk about science and technology, right? Patriotism. Probably you're talking about a story. You do a story, and then from the story, all right, you get the kids, right? You try to guide them towards thinking about patriotic values and so on and so on. Okay, so the teacher is the one who's able to do this and connect all these these cross-curriculum elements into their lessons, right? This is very interesting when the teacher is able to do all this, and it's not very difficult, okay, because you're not going to embed all these, you're just going to take one or two. So that is why a teacher is never replaceable by anything, right? These are things that a teacher has to do. Because if the teacher just shows this and then, okay, you look through and then you do, all right, nothing is going to come out of it. The teacher has to be there to make this alive. Okay, and cross-curricular elements is actually right. It's called EMK here, Element Merentasi Curriculum, which is a synthesis of knowledge, skills, and understandings from different subject areas, and it's an advanced and enriched pedagogy that promotes a learning approach which embraces and explores a wider sensitivity through various methods. Okay, right. Many strategies to actually employ these, and they constructively guide the pupils to understand and master the contents of the lesson through meaningful and fun learning activities. Right? Okay. There's one more. All right. Fun elements. Right? Yeah. See, again, she is using the technology. Yeah. All right. See, counting. That is counting. All right. Okay, so there's so much of language there, all right? The technology, she is using the technology too, all right? And she has got a nice game going on there. At the same time, she's also using, the things there, all right, the relia, all the objects there, and she's telling them what is the name and how to use it, all right? So, ladies and gentlemen, teachers, please remember that technology is here as a scaffold, right? It is a scaffolding beam, as I was saying earlier, and it's not a substitution, right? And Wheatley Glenn, she actually wrote a nice article on this, right? Retaining the human touch when supporting students in transitioning to asynchronous online teaching and learning in higher education. Okay, first draft 2020. Okay, where she talks about, yes, not allowing just technology alone there, right? Where you need to disseminate whatever that you are giving to your kids, let it be the lesson of the day, or even the homework with examples and with the way on how to do using strategies and techniques that is possible. All right, you need to be there to do all this. Only then you give them the work. Okay, and it's sometimes very bothering to actually see this kind of messages where sometimes they just say open your book and turn to this page and then do these exercises. Okay, these are all actual ones which are quite sad also to know these are because kids need to be taught. You need to disseminate all the elements that I was mentioning just now. You need to teach them how to go about all these, about a certain topic. You need to. Only then you have to give them the homework. Right? I know in many schools, in many areas, many of the kids, all right, are still deprived of the devices, and it's not so easy. All right. Of course, what help can we what it's not much that we can do there, right? But I know in many schools teachers are still, well, my students, ex-students who are all teaching in many parts of Malaysia, they are also going a little above the rest by going to the school and handing out modules, all right, to the kids so that they get at least something to go home and do, right? And we have television stations, all right, which teach actually, which has programs that teach kids, all right? That is why we need the teachers there. We need the human touch there, right? That's why it's really pertinent to have teachers there, okay? And I also want to share with you on how I've actually taught my own undergraduates here, all right, to do their writing test. Okay, this is a writing lesson on Moet, all right, using the Jamboard, all right, where we actually show and we actually guide them and take them by their hands. Okay, this is like some a question based on an email they have to write. So once they have written, they use the Jamboard and then they present it to us, and as the lecturer or as the teacher, we actually go through whatever that they have written, and it's done very fast because it's done part by part. All right, we can actually guide and facilitate the students here. The technology is there, but the teacher or the lecturer needs to be there to guide them on all this. All right, and make sure that they actually go, they actually must write. They must write so that the lecturer or the teacher is able to look at their writings and then correct, edit. They need to go and do the editing because writing is not just giving a question, a topic, and asking them to write. Okay, today we do an essay. Okay, all of you now, all right, I give you 1 hour, write an essay. This is not the way how writing is carried out. And if you're saying that, oh, I can ask them to look at the, you know, use the YouTube. All right, you look at videos. Even that we have someone doing it, right? That's the teacher who's actually teaching how to do that, right? That is why I'm saying the teacher needs to be there, all right, to show how to do. So this is one way where we can actually do, and this one way where we actually, um, I actually use Jamboard. I think many lecturers and teachers out there have got their own ways to actually teach, all right, using the technology. But teachers need to be there to actually guide the students to uh, teach, to write, all right, parts by parts. But definitely you need to be there to show them where you went wrong. Okay, you cannot have this idea here, or your sentence, your sentence structure, look at your sentence structure, the grammar here, subject verb agreement, all this. Okay, so it's very easily done. Even though we are all working, students are at home, but we have to come back to campus. We are working from the campus, so even though we are not there at the same place, like face to face, but still using this screen, these platforms and all, we can still teach. And we are there because we are the teacher. And after that, you can do all this with them, and everybody benefits. All right, see how it has been used. We can use this Jamboard again, and after they have done this, they write and then they present, and we can show them. We go through and we show them, okay, this is correct and this one is wrong, this is wrong, and all that. Okay, so VG, very good. Don't forget to motivate the student. Teachers are the ones who are capable of doing that. Either you bring down your kids by saying nasty things, or you have to elevate them. All right, elevate their spirits by saying very good. If they stand up and answer you, even though it is wrong, it's always good to say, very good, good try. But that is not, let's look at other answers. There are many ways to do that. I'm sure many teachers know about all these. Okay, right. So, in short, I'm a teacher and I will always become a teacher, all right, anytime. And I think every teacher is unique because we encourage children with our human touch, we connect, all right, to them emotionally, right? We are there because we can know what we feel, right? We connect to kids emotionally. We engage children with story and jokes, right? We connect and share with other children in the network, right? We encourage with points, rewards, and prizes. And we also show them a lot of games. We also engage them with graphics and videos, right? This is from Kavinaya. Thank you. Okay, so before I end this, all right, okay, you can see the word teach and tech, and teach, you can see A there, all right, so what is A? We are different, teach and tech, tech doesn't have A, right, A, okay, so I think A means, right, we are there because we are the academics. And academics can mean so many things. It encompasses, right, skills, content knowledge, and being there with your kids, right, connecting to them. So a teacher can never be replaced by technology, but a teacher who doesn't use technology will be ultimately replaced by one who does. All right. So with that, thank you. And thank you to all the teachers. Your students are very lucky to have you because you are there. All right. A special note of thanks to Miss Faustina Roberts, who has been helping, and she's also one of our ex-students. Right. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Joanne, off to you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Madam Kalaimadi Irene, for the sharing, coming from the heart, coming from what you have been observing. All right, sharing and all the experiences that you have gained throughout the years. Okay, so even shared the teacher trainees in action, and I believe all the viewers may agree that they are trying their best. Okay, physically with the technology, and what more now online with technology, to the extent that sometimes these trainees they have to guide the pupils' parents in order to get learning online successful. Okay, so you have certainly provided a gentle reminder to all of us teachers here that we are indeed irreplaceable by technology. Okay, so what do you think? This is your first question coming in. How can teachers instill values through the integration of technology since most of the online learning are still going on? How can
Uh,
teachers instill values through the integration of technology?
how can teachers instill
Values,
values? Oh, through technology,
yes, through the
through,
integration,
through
through the
the
use.
integration.
Hmm.
Okay, yeah, values, because as I showed just now a slide on cross-curricular elements, right? One of them
Mhm.
are values. As you go about, when you're teaching language, when you are there as a language teacher, all right, there are so many topics that you can actually try and see. In fact, every topic you can actually link to values, right? If you're talking about, let's say, values, okay, P's and Q's, all right, thank you, please, all right, let's say you are actually telling them a story. All right, let's look at, okay, probably Rumpelstiltskin. Okay, I don't know whether the kids these days know this story. Okay, Rumpelstiltskin, I like the story too. Let's say you are doing that story with them. You can always, talk about how Rumpelstiltskin was trying to help the queen or that character of Dia's queen, right? And well, you can always stop and ask them, okay, did she actually thank Rumpelstiltskin, all right, for helping her, all right, to weave the wool? Did she say thank you? Can you, do you also say thank you to your mom and dad? Do you say thank you to your friends in the classroom? These are small ways in which you can actually embed values, right? So even though you are using the technology, you can still do that. I hope I've answered the question.
Okay. Yes. Values can be embedded, it can be integrated in the technology. All right. Mm. We have an interesting comment here that he says that in the future he thinks that children will be taught by true androids because now they are already using android phones. So what is your take about this?
If you ask me, with 37 years of teaching and 18 years in teachers training college, um, well, yeah, probably they might be. Yeah, I don't see that because we didn't. I do not say yeah, you don't do. I cannot actually deny that because did we even think of using the screen to teach our students? But for the past 18 months, that's what we are doing, right? And if he says that another object or probably the AI, all right, or probably there's going to be a kind of robot that is going to replace the teachers. Again, I'm telling, would the robot be having all the human values that a person as a teacher have? So I'm of course I do not agree with it, but I think a teacher is a teacher and the teacher is a human being. We just use all that as a help. Of course, you can bring your robot to the class. It will be very interesting. Imagine having a robot in the class, but I
Mm.
certainly would also want to stand there with the robot and also, do my part there. Where I'm able to see and call out, okay, my students are not able to. Sulin, are you able to understand? Sulin, can you see? Do you want to talk to the robot? I want to call my students one, a few of them, those who are not confident, I want them to also speak. All right, I want them to also stand there and speak. So the robot alone is not going to do that. So I'm not too sure. In the future you might have a robot, but a robot again can never do as how can never do as much as a teacher can do, right? Okay,
Yes.
definitely I would also yeah, I would disagree to it, but okay.
Okay,
Joanne,
coming back to the first question that you have responded just now, she said that you have shared a very insightful sharing there, and it is true that teachers are irreplaceable as technology lacks the human touch. So, human touch, right? And from here, I guess with technology, with just a touch of a button, the technology will die, right? But the teacher still stand.
exactly.
Yes.
Hmm.
Okay.
You
So,
saw how we were dealing with, right, with the technology earlier on. Yeah, I just wish that I was actually talking to some students in front of me, where I could just go directly and say to them and speak to them, just being standing there and doing that because that's what I'm used to. But I'm slowly learning to also use, get some help from the technology. But sometimes it's not that easy. One is accessibility, right? Availability. Sometimes it's not there, and we have words like okay, some words I'm learning a lot of new words, technological words like it's lagging, it's lagging, oh, it's not linked. So many new things that I'm learning. Yeah, that's not very easy. I think it's it's nothing like standing in front there of the students and talking to them,
yes,
right?
true.
Yeah.
Okay. And the next one we have here, besides using technology in our education, students also need teachers' guidance. So the human touch again. There should be a balance between teaching physically and using the technology. So what's your take? What's your view again?
Yes, definitely. I mentioned this earlier, right? I said, yes, definitely. The human touch is so important. Why? because you need to guide your kids. Let's say you are teaching, okay, you are, all right, a part of your lesson is, okay, you are dealing with grammar. Okay, you need to tell them, okay, why? Okay, John lives here. So you need to tell the kids, okay, John lives here. I live here. See, I live here. She lives here. You live here. I need to guide like that. So I need to come there because let's say I see my kids struggling, and not able to use with S and without S. So that's grammar. So I want to be there to guide. So the teacher is the one who actually stands there in between and actually guides and tells them, here, this is how you do it. Okay, this is how you do it. That's the job of the teacher. All right, as you go around
Yes.
about with your lessons. Yeah, Joy?
Yes.
The guidance, yeah.
Agree.
Hmm.
Yes. Guidance, human touch, right? Eye contact, especially when the teacher say, "I can see what you're doing there," even though the teacher is facing the blackboard. Yeah.
Teachers have many eyes. They
True.
have eyes at the back of the head.
Yes. And arms of an octopus. Okay.
Exactly.
All right. So thank you once again for enlightening us on this topic, humanizing language teaching, why technology can never replace a teacher. With your experience, full of experience in this teacher training field, teaching yourself and what's not. Okay, so I'm sure we are now clear with what we should do to make sure that technology aids us in our job, and definitely it is not there to replace us after listening to Madam Irene's presentation. Okay,
Yeah.
so hope that all of you out there have gained some insights on the matter and enjoy the presentation by Madam Calamity Irene. So with this, we conclude the webinar. Thank you all for attending. We hope you have learned and enjoyed this presentation. And remember the heart, okay? Our heart is still pumping there, okay? I would like to thank the Educational Resources and Technology Division, PSTP, MOE, for the platform, organizers, and our lovely repertoires. And last but not least, please do not forget, mark in your calendar, our next webinar series will be held this coming 20th October 2021 on Wednesday, and it will be live at 11 a.m. Malaysian time. 11 a.m. Till then, goodbye from Malaysia. Bye.